This is the LV One EVO full exhaust system on the notorious Yamaha T7. And this is the reaction you get when you listen to it. Now, if you just opted for the LV One EVO slip-on muffler, this video will still walk you through that process. You just won't get to experience the magnificent headers and midpipe, although technically you will because you're seeing them right now. And they are a work of art. Okay, first step for us was to remove the Yamaha skid plate. This one was held on by 4 bolts that required an 8mm socket. Next, we need to loosen up the clamp that holds on the Yamaha muffler. For this, you'll need a 6mm Allen key, and up on the muffler hanger itself, you'll need an 8mm Allen key, which is backed by a 14mm nut. You'll want to carefully remove the factory hardware and then slide the muffler out by slightly twisting it back and forth. Most of the hardware here will not be used for the installation. Next, we needed to carefully remove the O2 sensor, which requires a 17mm open-end wrench. You can also use an adjustable crescent if you don't have a 17mm wrench handy. It's important that you try not to twist the actual sensor cables too much. And you also don't want to let anything touch the sensor, especially like your greasy fingers. Now we're able to remove the stock header pipes. You'll need a 12mm socket with an extension so that you can easily reach all 4 nuts. The factory flanges will then slide off after you remove those 12mm nuts. Finally, we needed to remove a shouldered bolt head that was holding on the midpipes to the underbody of the bike.
A shouldered bolt head, and there's no other wash.
Now with everything removed, it's not a bad idea to clean up the exhaust ports. However, make sure you don't push any of that dust or debris into the ports themselves. We also elected to add just a tiny bit of anti-seize on the threaded bolts that come out of the cylinder head, just so that if the bike needs maintenance down the road, everything can be removed smoothly. Okay, so this part was a little ambiguous. The Yamaha originally has these graphite sleeves or gaskets that sit between the cylinder heads and the header pipes. We found that whether or not they were reused, it didn't really affect the installation of the LeoVince headers. And since the instructions didn't directly mention this, we decided to go ahead and reinstall them just in case. And by the way, we haven't noticed any issues regarding this, and it's been a couple of months since we filmed it now. Okay, so while holding that graphite gasket in the port, you can slide on the LeoVince flange. The stamped numbering should be facing towards you. If you're confused about this, just take a look at what we did carefully in the video. And we tried both ways, and there is indeed a correct and an incorrect placement. Now we were able to tighten the nuts and hang both springs on the flanges before proceeding with the LeoVince headers. Go. Using the spring pullers that are provided, attach the springs to the headers. Now this part looks tricky, but it's really pretty straightforward. The bolt is the factory Yamaha bolt we removed, but LeoVince provides a new nut that gets captured on the inside of the bolt. This is because on the Yamaha midpipes, there was already a welded nut that receives the bolt, and on the LeoVince headers, you need to actually insert the nut yourself. That nut requires a 13mm socket or wrench. Although once the nut was pretty tight, we found that fully tightening the bolt didn't require us to have a wrench on the back of the nut. This next part shows how we reinstalled the O2 sensor back onto the brand new LeoVince collector or midpipe. As far as we know, the North American Tenere 700s have the sensors placed in this area and don't require any harness extension. However, if you are in the EU or somewhere else, you may need to look at the LeoVince website and confirm whether or not your Yamaha will need an extension. We did, however, need to unclip on one of the ties that the sensor harness was held on to the frame. Later on, you can use like a nice zip tie or two to organize everything back again. Finally, we installed the spring that compressed the headers onto the collector Y pipe. Okay, so now using the LeoVince midpipe clamp, we were able to insert the midpipe onto the collector pipe. This bolt uses a 5mm Allen key. For now, You want to leave everything pretty loose so that you can make necessary adjustments as you're installing everything down the way. And with the muffler now slipped on, we went ahead and inserted the carbon fiber hanger onto the muffler. Yes, this is actual carbon fiber, and the fit and finish is incredible. So here's the order of operation for the hanger hardware. You first insert the LeoVince collar between the carbon fiber hanger and the subframe. Then, with the LeoVince decorative collar, slide the provided bolt in. And here's a quick little note.
We're using the
Washer.
the OEM Yamaha washer that came with its hanger on the back, because this is just a rubber bushing that goes through there.
The Allen bolt is a 6mm and the nut on the back is a 13mm. Now with the muffler secured, we were able to line up the midpipe and attach the muffler spring. And now let's take a look at how we installed the carbon fiber heat shields.
I'm going to slide these in from the top, so if they were to come off, they would potentially have more bite than from the bottom.
The order of operation is the same as pretty much any other LeoVince heat shield we've installed, which is nice because we like consistency. First, you insert the metal washer onto the bolt, then you thread on the graphite washer, then on the inside of the heat shield, thread on the second graphite washer, and this will actually help the bolt stay in place when you're blindly aligning it to the exhaust system. Then just repeat the same thing on the second heat shield. As you can probably tell, this doesn't always work from the first try. Just be patient and you'll get the bolts aligned. At this point, it was safe to go ahead and tighten all the hardware that we left loose for minor adjustments. And here is the final product. A magnificent stainless steel muffler with a full header and mid-pipe section. Hey, if you're new to LiterADV, first of all, welcome. But secondly, we always provide a separate high-quality sound review videos for these exhaust installs, so be on the lookout for the sound review of this bike.